and this is Q&A, or Shorts with Scott. This is number 8. So, Q&A with Scott, number 8, Shorts with Scott, as I call it. This is just going to be a short 15 minutes of questions that are coming in that I've got written down. If you want to send in questions, please feel free to. Just go to pray5, that's P-R-A-Y, the number 5, org at gmail.com. That's pray5org at gmail. Pray5org at gmail.com. Pray5org at gmail.com. No spaces, no dots. Okay. You think I would remember that with my own email? Okay. Question that we have is a little off, different than normal. But hey, if the Bible will talk about certain things, so I'm not going to sidestep them because they're kind of weird. Not weird, just unique. Okay, so if this is your question, it's unique. Okay. The first one we have is about UFOs. Yes, UFOs. The Bible talks about dinosaurs. The Bible addresses about aliens, UFOs. Yes, it does. Now, it doesn't call them aliens as far as, I'm talking about outer space. I'm not talking about from one country to another. And you're like, well, what does the Bible say about UFOs? Okay. First of all, on UFOs, and the next question with it is on ghosts. So I put these two together because obviously these two questions kind of go together, so I stuck them together. The first question is, are there UFOs and are they real? The next question was are ghosts, are they really the dead people are they people who've passed? Okay. The answer is, are UFOs real? Yes. Don't hang up. Let me explain. The thing is, Satan and his angels, their job is to try to distract us from what Christ is, to distract us from what Scripture is. And that's through believing in paganism or atheism or evolution. Hundreds. There's many ways to destruction, but only one way to heaven. Well, what he does is, if he can get you thinking, oh, okay, well, there's other planets and the truth is out there somewhere, even though evolution doesn't give us the truth and doesn't give us an answer. So, well, it's out there somewhere. Okay. Demons can manifest in form, but they have to come to be seen in physical form where you can touch it. They have to indwell something, an animal, a person, a thing, an object. Okay. They can't do it on their own. They have to have a host, but they can show spirit. They can come and appear to you and speak to you in spirit. They can't do it in physical form where you can touch them without a host. So how hard is it to be able to make an image from a being who has more intelligence than I would say in our government, but that's not too hard. But more intelligence than our smartest scientists. So they can make, and then the people that see these, they're seeing these things in the air. Okay, so yes, they're seeing unidentified flying objects, and it would be a tactic of the enemy to say, oh, there's space aliens, that's where we came from. That's how we evolved. They came and colonized the planet. So therefore, that's not very difficult. That's an easy one. Next one is, and I'm going to show a scripture here in just a little bit on this one. So, are ghosts real? Are they really dead people who've come back? No. Okay, it says it's once in Hebrews 9:27. That's Hebrews 9:27. It says it's once for a person to die, and then there's the judgment. You go from here to there. Either if you're saved, you go straight to heaven. If you're unsaved and you die, then you're put into a holding cell, which is called hell or Hades, or Gehenna is another name for it, until the end of the millennial reign, which then you'll be judged and then put into a lake of fire. Okay, ghosts are demons that can mimic your voice, your likeness, and know all your details. And people I've heard this before. They said, well, my dear departed relative or friend, we had a secret number or a secret code, so that that when they go to a seance and they hear so and so, they say, "Oh, what's the secret code?" And they'll give the name or the number or whatever the secret code is, and they'll spit it out just like that, and it'll sound like them. Well, the demons, if you're into this, the demons can hear your conversation even if you're in a room. Okay, it's not rocket science. What I want to do is quote real quickly is 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. This is referring to actually the head of the demons, which is Satan. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. It says, and I'll go with 13 first. It says, For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. In other words, these were the humans who were saying, "Oh, I'm an apostle. Christ came and talked to me." We have a bunch of people claiming to be apostles, which aren't. That's what he's referring to even back then. And then in verse 14, he says, "And no wonder, even Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light." Okay, Satan isn't, he had the pitchfork and that's Hollywood. Okay, Satan was created as a beautiful being. Lucifer was before he fell, and he not going to look like a grotesque looking monster. Okay, he's going to be somebody that's going to draw people to his attention. He's going to be very revealing. His demons can do the same thing. Okay, if he can do it, so can they. Okay, they have the same abilities. So when they come to talk to these seances and tea leaf readings and palm readings and all this, they can show up as an angel of light. Of course, there's a price to pay. They'll get you hooked, and then there's a price to pay. And people call these their spirit guide, whether it be in our Native American heritage or in different heritages throughout our world, throughout history. They call them different things, but it's a spirit guide. That's a demon. That is a demon. Okay, so and the rest of the scripture is very clear on that. You can do some digging, take about 5 minutes to find the different verses, but that's what that is. So stay away from that. So they can appear as whatever they want to deceive. Okay. Next thing is, let me see what the next one is. Ooh, this one's kind of touchy. Are drugs, narcotics, illegal drugs, are they against the Bible? Okay. The word is pharmakia. Pharmakia. You can Google it, pharmakia. And I've had a study on this, and it's actually on the pray5.org website. You can go look at that study on that, or you can just look it up yourself. Take 30 seconds to go to Google. But pharmakia means, obviously that's where we get the word pharmacy from, okay, or pharmacist, or pharmakai, or pharmakos, depending on you got the Latin and the Greek, but they mean the same thing, okay. We have legitimate drugs, which they've had. Luke, who wrote 2 books of the Bible, was a physician, and would use different things and different roots and different natural things. Okay, just because it's grown and it's natural doesn't mean it's okay to take it. He says if you're taking something for medicinal purposes, that's makes common sense. He talks about that to make you, even alcohol. They said if you're having upset stomach, Paul said drink. Talking to one of the other apostles, said drink some wine to help make your stomach better. Okay, but he said don't get drunk on it. So if you're taking if you're taking something that alters your mind and alters your chemistry, like meth or any of these other narcotics, and they're all, besides the fact that they're illegal, so that's also against the Bible because they're illegal. But the thing is, when it alters your mind, alters your body, that actually puts you into a state, could put you into a state of your soul into neutral. Like for instance, when these I saw a study on when these people who are doing transcendental meditation, and they hooked up all the probes on their head so they could see what the chemistry was doing in their brain, and their brain was shut off in certain areas, just like you're sleeping. Well, you can do the same thing with drugs, where it puts a neutral part of your brain in neutral. Okay, this opens you up for demonism. Pharmakia is also talks about the word when it talks about sorcery and witchcraft. It uses the word pharmakia, just like it uses it for drugs and witchcraft. The same word is pharmakia. and you can look it up, and the definition is not leaning left or right, or it's not a denomination. It's a dictionary. It says pharmakia is this, and part of it is witchcraft. So therefore drugs draw you into that. Okay. Next question is, I put this one because they obviously go together. Is all witchcraft bad? Black path, white path, and there's a list of other things, because you hear people say, well, there's a good witch and a bad witch. Okay, you have witches. They say that the people have said, I believe that this one is referring to is there good witches that do good that are not evil, and there's bad witches, like, okay, no. Very clearly, let me read real quick in Revelation chapter 22. Actually, let's go to 21 first. Chapter 21, 8. Chapter 21, verse 8 in Revelation. And it says, I'll start off in 21:7. It says, he who overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son, male or female. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the sexually immoral, the sorcerers will not inherit the kingdom. It says, the sorcerers, let me finish reading it. Sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars. He puts lying in there with sorcery and sexual immorality. So if you lie and you say, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a white lie, God says otherwise. Might want to think about that before you open your mouth and say the native language of Satan, because the native language of Satan is lying. Okay, so when you're lying, you're speaking his language. Okay, and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which burns forever and ever with brimstone, which is the second death. When you look up, go to blueletterbible.org, blueletterbible, all one word, .org, put in this verse, and you look under sorcerers, guess what the name is? Pharmakia, or pharmakos. Sorcery. So sorcery is witchcraft, whether it's white path or black path. There's no difference. Kind of like a lie. There's no difference in a white lie or a big lie. Okay, God didn't see it. So if you're dealing with witchcraft, white path, black path, you're dealing with demonics, demonism, not of God. He said anyone who's doing this, sorcery or witchcraft or even palm reading, it's talking about palm reading even. It refers to us in, I believe in King James says, it includes palm reading, is all witchcraft, and it's all demonism, sorcery, Ouija board. All of that is not neutral. It is witchcraft and it is demonism, plain and simple. It's black and white. There is no argument on that. The Bible's clear. Okay. So therefore, it refers to these things. Whenever I would go into a home when I was on SWAT, the thing is we'd go into a home with narcotics for a narcotics raid. I always saw the same things. I always would see, well, obviously drugs. That's why we were there. You see the narcotics, pornography, which is also demonism. So if you're hooked to porn, realize the porn, what you think is neutral and it's not hurting anybody, is actually two things. One is violates John chapter 5, where Christ says, if you look in your mind and lust in your heart after another person, then you've committed adultery in your heart and you've committed sin against God. So pornography is a sin against God. Just type in, does the Bible say anything about pornography on Google, and just look at the verses. So pornography, I would see drugs, pornography, and witchcraft, all three in the house each time. I may have seen one with missing one of them, like Harry Potter is not neutral. And you say, well, but it's a good show. Yeah, they dress it up to look really nice. So witchcraft, pornography, and drugs, they're kissing cousins, and they're interchangeable as far as they all use this as a tool to get you away from the one true God. Okay, if you have any questions, again, go just send them to me. You don't have to be perfect. Just send them to me and say, hey, what does the Bible say, or what's this question about this? Go to pray5, P-R-A-Y, the number 5, pray5org at gmail.com. This is Scott with questions and answers number 8. Have a Merry Christmas. Well, I'll see you next week. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you next week.